today we got a billionaire simulator video for you today. A little bit of a tips and tricks slash tutorial type thing. So if you do enjoy and you want to see more, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. But what are we talking about today? We're talking about how I've successfully have made tons of money in this game, literally in the quadrillions. As you can see up here, I made over 10.5 quadrillion over the course of me playing this game, and I've played it for a hot minute, but most of this money has come pretty recently, and I want to go ahead and explain just how that happened and how you can make it happen as well. Okay, and it's a pretty common principle. It's a pretty simple things here, but a lot of these tips are like obvious, but you wouldn't know them unless you know them, essentially. So first things first, okay, the first tip is super obvious. You need to get a manager for every single store. The manager needs to be your first priority, no matter how expensive it is. It needs to be the thing you buy as soon as you can afford a store. And in my personal opinion, don't buy a store until you can afford to also buy the manager for it, because you're going to want the manager to run the store so it can be generating revenue even when you're not on the game. So that's right. If you take like a week break or so, you will still end up being able to make money off them. So you can take a break and come back and you'll have a load of money, which is super duper useful, because then you can take that money and throw it into upgrades. Like for instance, we have 4.7 quadrillion right now. What am I going to do? I'm going to go ahead and make sure that all this money gets spent before I get off the game today, because I want to make sure that all the buildings are pretty much as upgraded as I can get them. So that way, when I come back on, I will have generated a little bit more money than the last time. So you want to make sure you upgrade these places with pretty much all your money for the most part. There's a few exceptions. For instance, like the hot dog stand, this money here will most likely barely ever be actually worthwhile, but I'm only doing it just to show a point. But this is going to take a long time for it to actually come back and pay me back, because that is another principle in Roblox Billionaire Simulator that's super important to know. Okay, you got to spend money to make money in this game. Okay, like a big thing in Roblox Billionaire Simulator is that you should be spending all of your money. It's a video game. You're meant to spend your money to make more money just to spend it again. It's how it works. It costs you nothing IRL or anything along those lines. So it's definitely worthwhile to take all the money you get and just reinvest it in the game. There's no loss of risk, obviously. So you want to take all your money and you want to make sure you put it right back into different stores, because that will come in handy big time in the future. And of course, that is very critical. Okay, that's another thing you want to do. Now, another thing you can do to increase how much money you get, and I've done this a few times and I will likely be doing it again in the future, is you can rebirth. If you click on this rebirth here, you can rebirth. You'll lose all your money. Your businesses will produce more money after rebirthing. But what happens though is you need to spend a lot of money to do it, and it's like essentially restarting the game. But as you can see, I have got my rebirth money to times 9%. Not 9%, times 9 times. So literally this button here makes $9 billion every single time I click on it, and every single store here makes 9 times the amount of money because of how many times I've rebirthed. That is super duper useful for getting a load of money fast, because obviously it's very easy to do, and if you do it a few times, you'll get a massive increase. Another thing that you can do occasionally is they have these cosmetic hats. You can go ahead and buy a hat, and when you buy the hats, they give a production increase. I currently have the Santa top hat, which gives a 1.5% production everywhere, which is super duper useful. But of course, there's other options that you can buy with gems and such to majorly increase your money making speed, which is going to come big time in handy. And it's definitely something that you want to consider getting or having along those lines. And I know every once in a while, Billionaire Simulator will do a thing where you can get these candy canes to get free hats or something along those lines, or other methods. And that's just super duper useful for when you can get those, because you can take advantage of the free hats, or you can go ahead and just, you know, buy some gems here for different amounts of money. So that is definitely useful that you can do that. But overall, that's some pretty useful tips, but we're going to go ahead and keep going because we got a few more. Okay, next tip for making more money, you got to get a moon base. Okay, the moon, yes, it is separate money, but it's still money. Now, the moon will make money a bit slower than you will on the earth, but it doesn't really matter. It's still worthwhile having, and it's still a second stream of revenue, which is invaluable to have. So you definitely want to get a base on the moon as soon as you're able to. Like, just literally like dive right in and get on the moon. And again, you want to go for similar strategies on the moon, spending all the money you get right back into properties. It's definitely going to come handy. Furthermore, you also are going to want to make sure that you have managers up here as well, so when you take a few day break or whatever, you'll still make money and you don't have to manually click on all the different buttons. It'll definitely come in handy. But overall, these are just some of my tips and tricks for the game. If you guys want to see more, hear more in future videos, let me know by leaving a like and subscribing if you're new. More videos coming soon, daily Roblox on the channel. So if you do enjoy, make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and check out all the social medias down below in the description. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in another one. Bye.